Yo guys, it's Sif here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another match preview for Premier League game week 37. This is the final week of the Premier League. Obviously on Sunday every team plays in the Premier League. It's the last game of the season, you know the gist. But today we're going to be talking about Brighton versus Chelsea. Quite a very important game. This is another tough fixture and a very important game, especially in our hands, because the race for Europe is heating up. We cannot drop 1 point. We can't even draw this game, let alone lose. We can't. It must be a win no matter what if we want Europa League. So it's a must win. But before we do get into the preview, got my words jangled up then. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to notify every time I load a video. Also, first link in the description is my streaming channel. Go and check that out. Very much appreciated. And let's jump straight into it because we're facing what it seems like to be one of our rivals for the past season. You know, between the fans on Twitter especially. I mean, I'm hella active on Twitter and I see it all the time. Between the Brighton and us, like the Chelsea fans, there's always a bit of beef there, you know what I mean? There's always a bit of beef there between the big accounts, the small accounts. It seems like there's always been a bit of beef between the fans. But between the clubs, not the players, I don't know what story that is. But between the clubs, it's love on love. We buy their best players. They come to Chelsea, they're shit. Bar Casado and Cucurella in a sense. We buy their staff, shit. Then we buy their managers, shit. And we give them hella big bucks money for these players. They're just like, please, give me the money, give me the money. The most money they generate, majority of their money, has come from us. It's come from us. And majority of them haven't even performed. And it wouldn't even be my surprise if we do sack Pochettino and we go in for Robert De Zerbi. And you know where I stand on that. If you follow me on Twitter, you know where I stand on that. Hell no. No thanks. And again, we'll probably pay like 25 million for him. Just like we did with Potter. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's this thing with Brighton that I just don't like nowadays. I don't know if it's because they're fans, because the team themselves, Brighton, I've got a lot of respect for Brighton. Got a lot of respect because it was only 4 or 5 seasons ago that they were in the gutters. You know, they were in the gutters, fighting for their lives near the relegation zone, stuff like that. Weren't a great team, didn't play great football, stuff like that. Now they're a team that play great football, you know. They've got great players. They're good at developing youth and stuff like that. And they are a good side. They're a good side. They're always around that 10th, 8th, 7th position. Do you know what I mean? They're around that position sometimes. Not this season, obviously. And they've grew up to be a relatively good side, good recruitment team as well. I've got a lot of respect for them. It's just their fans are just a bit annoying. I can't even lie. Like, they always, for some reason, have to tweet something about Chelsea every single day. They have an agenda against us. I don't know what it is. But not all of them, obviously. Some Brighton fans are really nice people. I've met some Brighton fans. They're really nice people. Obviously, we vouch everything off Brighton for some reason. We look at Brighton and go, oh yeah, we want to be, our owners look at Brighton and go, oh, we want to be Brighton. We want to develop the youth like them. We want to play their football like them. We want to be them. You know what I mean? May as well change the lion in our logo to a blue seagull. You know what I'm trying to say? We may as well just do it. But they've got some good players, obviously. They've got some players. I forgot what midfielder they've got. I think he's South African, but he's a very good player. They've got Danny Welbeck, who always manages to score past us. I don't know why. I've always rated Danny Welbeck, to be fair. I think it's a decent striker. They've got that Evan Ferguson, who we were looking at buying for 100 million. There's another one. I can tell you this right now. He would immediately flop at Chelsea Football Club. They have a decent manager, Robert De Zerbi, but I just don't think it would work at Chelsea anyway. But they have some good players. They have some good quality players. Estevinia as well. They've got some good players. But let's be real here, it shouldn't be a match for us. We should be able to beat them. We've took their best player last season, Casado, and he's doing really well here. We've got Colwell from them. Obviously, he went on loan to them, and they were going to try and buy him, but obviously we decided to keep him, and he's brilliant, but he's not in training. Obviously, he's still injured. We've got quality players. Even with the players we've got injured, we're slowly starting to get those players back now. We've got quality players, and we should be beating Brighton, no question or doubt. In my mind, we should be. We're better this season as well in terms of the table. But it's just tough. It really is. Obviously, my score prediction will come at the end of the video and what I think is going to happen. Not what I want, what I think is going to happen. But it just depends on how we set up. If we've been setting up the way we did against Forest, then we could lose. We could lose. We was very lucky in that sense that we didn't lose to Forest, and I stand by that. The substitutes helped, so I will say to Pochettino, fair play on that behalf. But if we set up the way we did against West Ham and played a system, we can go to Brighton and beat them. We can. I can't remember what the last result was against Brighton, but I think we beat them, if I'm not mistaken. At their ground. I was talking at their ground. I think no, we lost 4-1 last year, didn't we? I think we lost 4-1 at their ground last year. Oh, if it was what I'm thinking it is, then that was atrocious. But I mean, that season's it's just one to forget. Do you know what I mean? Put a brick wall in front of me. It's one to forget. But it just depends on how Pochettino sets us up. What has he been doing on the training ground? You know what I'm trying to say? And one thing I don't like about Poch, and he came out and he said this. He says if he's here next season, he won't be blaming it on injuries and he won't be blaming it on the young squad. Okay, fine. And this is the thing though, but he says these things all the time. I'm not going to blame it on injuries. I'm not going to blame it on young players. We're Chelsea. We should be striving for titles and stuff like that. He says all these things that I'm thinking, okay, correct. The next week or the next game, when we lose or draw or we play badly or something like that, he'll come out and say it's a long process. It's going to be here for 2 to 3 years. We've got a young squad. Like, he says one thing correct, and then the next 2 days he says the opposite. He flip-flaps too much. If you're a Chelsea manager, you've got to have a backbone. You've got to have a backbone. I've said this the whole time. You've got to be a strong mental beast to be a Chelsea manager. There's so much pressure in that seat, especially with these owners. There's so much more pressure. You've got to deal with that. You've got to have a backbone. I don't think Pochettino has a backbone. I don't think he does. And another reason why I think we've been performing so well in the last couple of weeks is because of how much limited players we've got. Pochettino's had to stick with the same players. He's had to stick with the same players, the same lineup, or such a thin squad, to the point where he's not looking at other players and going, oh yeah, maybe do I pick you? Maybe do I pick you? Do you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I'm trying to get at. I feel like he just maybe overthinks it. I don't know. But if you're a quality manager, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't know, but it's a huge game for tomorrow. Other teams are going to be picking up points. You can bet that. We've got to put some sort of catch up. We have to on Newcastle. We have to. We're on the same amount of points, if I'm not mistaken, but I think they've got a much higher goal difference. We've got to hope they obviously drop points. But we're not just relying on them to drop points. We've got to be gaining points. We've got 2 games to try and get into Europa League. We've got 2 games to do it. We can't just rely on other teams. We've got to get the points ourselves. Simple as that. So this game against Brighton is a must win. I don't want to see nothing else. Even if we play amazing and we draw, I'll be going in on the players and the manager, because we can't be losing this game. We cannot be. So, yeah, that's my little preview bit. Now let's move on to the team I'll go for tomorrow. So, I'm making a few minor changes to the lineup today. Not much, honestly. Actually, I think there's only one, if I'm not mistaken. But some players in some different positions, and you'll understand it when you see it. So, right here on the screen is going to be it. I'm going to go through it, and then I'll go through what I've chosen to play. So, it's going to be right here. Petrovic in goal, Mark Cucurella left back, Badiashile and Thiago Silva as your 2 centre-backs. Trevor Chalobah as a right back, Gallagher, Caicedo double pivot, Sterling off the left, Mudryk in the 10, Palmer off the right, and then Jackson as the ST. Now let me tell you now why I've gone with this. So Petrovic obviously standard. I say this all the time. Sanchez out injured. Plus I don't think Petrovic is even like a big fault to the reason why we concede many goals. I actually think he does quite well. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Petrovic themselves, But I think he's quite decent. So Petrovic I'm going to go with. Cucurella as well, left back. He plays inverted now. He does a decent job at it. He didn't really do it that well against Forest, I'll be honest. But again, Chilwell's injured. So what can we do? Badiashile, by the way, I don't think Cucurella's been bad as well. I think Cucurella's been decent. Badiashile as well, been decent, stable mate of the team. Same with Thiago Silva, keep it up. I've got nothing bad to say about those two at the moment. They've both been decent. Trevor Chalobah right back. Now, I know a lot of people are still on that bandwagon where they think Trevor Chalobah's good at right back. But if Gusto's available, even Reece James, we should be maybe swapping and taking turns with them. And I would agree with you because Gusto and Reece James both came off the bench against Forest. But, and I say this with caution because I know after this game we've only got one game left and it's literally on the weekend. But what I say we do is, I say we start with Trevor Chalobah and then later on in the game we bring on a Reece James or a Gusto. Preferably for me, Gusto. And it's nothing to do with Reece James. Reece James is brilliant. But it's because I don't want Reece James to imagine he picks up an injury against Brighton and he's out for like a long time to the point where he misses like the first 5 games of next season. Do you know what I mean? We need him ready, fit and then. Do you know what I'm saying? And he got a brilliant assist, Reece James did, against Forest. 2 minutes after coming back, he made an instant impact. But I just want him 100% fit for next season. I think he's had too many injuries to deal with this season. He's only just come back from surgery. I still would be precautionary with him. If we don't really need to use him, I'd be using Gusto instead. But I think to start off with Trevor Chalobah, it's fine. Gusto's also only been back for like 3 weeks, so we've got to ease him in as well, even though there's only one game left. I think Trevor Chalobah can deal with like a player like Matoma or something like that. I think he could deal with it quite well. Plus, when Cucurella goes inverted, it forms like a 3 at the back because Trevor Chalobah stays back a lot more because obviously Cucurella's pushed up more. So it forms into like a 3. And I think Trev would be better in that 3 than like a Gusto or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So just for this right now, this inverted thing right now, that's all. Gallagher, obviously, as well. Like, I didn't think he was great against Forest. I've got to be honest, I don't think he was great against Forest. But it's a formula. You've got to keep this team ticking until the end of the season because if we switch too much, then who knows, might get screwed even more. Plus, there's not really many there's no midfielders to really come in for Gallagher and Caicedo. They're the only 2 right now. So with Caicedo as well, opposite to Gallagher, I think Caicedo has been absolutely perfect. One of the most underrated players, in my opinion. A lot of people, even recently, like from rival fans, media and stuff like that, were saying he's got to be one of the flops of the season. Do you watch the games? Or are you actually watching the games? And when you do watch the games, are you like for really watching the games? Do you know what I mean? Are you actually for really watching the games? Because you must be blind. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. Makes a few mistakes with his passes, I'll admit that. But for his role, what he's meant to be doing, does it brilliantly. Caicedo, nothing bad to say. Them 2 in the double pivot. Sterling off the left. This is where a lot of people may be thinking, going, what the hell are you on about? Sterling, I've gone off of the left because I've took Madueke off the side because I think he had an absolute stinker against Forest. Before Forest, he was perfect. Mwah, perfect. But he played an absolute rotter against Forest. I don't even think he made a single completed dribble. Sterling came on and he got a goal straight away. Made some sort of an impact. You got to start him for that. I'm sorry, you have to start him for that. And knowing Sterling, he'll probably be pants. He'll probably be pants when he does start. And then that's when I'll be probably screaming for Madueke to come back on. I get that. But hey, he came on and he made some sort of impact along with Reece James. So you've got to start him in my eyes. And that's when I'm drifting Mudryk into the 10. Mudryk can do the 10. Mudryk likes to play in the 10. I think he does very well in the 10 as well. Again, Mudryk doesn't deserve to be dropped. He didn't really do much against Forest, but he didn't do anything bad either. He also scored a good goal. So you've got to start him in that sense. And that's why I would push him over in that 10. And then Palmer, obviously, off the right. Palmer, that assist to Mudryk was pinpoint. Mwah. Just proves the technical ability this guy has and what player we've got on our hands. Honestly, brilliant player. Palmer, obviously, off the right. He could do the right as well. I think he does the right better than he does the 10 as well, in my opinion. So I'll go Palmer off the right. I wouldn't bring Nkunku in. He's in that exact same boat for Reece James that I've been saying about. I get it, they're fit, they may be ready, but I just think I want them at 100%. I don't want them to get injured like tomorrow or in the last game of the season and then potentially maybe be out for the first couple of games of the next season. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I want them fit and ready to go at 1,000%, not even 100, not even 300, not even 322%. I want them at 1,000% next season, ready to go, because they make the team so much more better. And then obviously Jackson is the ST. I want Jackson to keep it up. The last couple of games, he's really starting to get into his own. It looks like he's starting to not conquer, that's the wrong word, starting to get used to the Premier League in a sense. I always credit his dribbling ability is brilliant. His finishing still needs to be worked on. What I think, there's a player in there, and I think a lot of people are starting to get onto it now. I've been saying it since the start of the season, even though I still want Osimhen as the ST next season, to take a load of pressure off Jackson's back, and I think he will perform even more better then. But I've been not on this Jackson's pants bandwagon. I've been on the bandwagon of Jackson's a good player, and he will become a good player, and he will prove a lot of people wrong. So that's my team lineup. Let me know in the comments down below what yours would be. So, score predictions tomorrow. Brighton versus Chelsea. Obviously at Brighton's ground. That's going to be tough. Playing at their home ground as well. Sorry about the light, by the way. The light still hasn't been fixed. It's dark outside. I'm having to use my monitor as the light. So I apologise on that behalf. It will get fixed soon. Probably maybe last game of the season. But, score prediction. I'm going to go with... Score predictions have ended up getting easier now. They've got easier for me. I gotta be honest. My head is telling me it's going to be a 2-2 game. It's going to be 2-2 tomorrow. But something else is telling me that Chelsea are going to win 2-1. I think we're going to win 2-1. I think we're going to scrape it. I feel like we really are going to scrape it. And I think maybe a penalty winner, I think it'll be a penalty winner. I have a feeling it's going to be a scrappy game tomorrow. I don't know why. Like, not in terms of scrappiness, in terms of like, you know, the ball flying everywhere. So like, no, I'm talking about challenges for some odd reason. I've just got a feeling. But I'm going to go with Brighton 1, Chelsea 2. But I've got to be honest, and I hate to say it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. I just don't know why. So, yeah, that's my score predictions for tomorrow. Let's pick up the 3 points because we need it. Like I said, we cannot drop points. We can't even drop 1 point tomorrow. Otherwise, I think Europe's gone. If we even draw, I think Europe's done. So, it must be 3 points or nothing tomorrow. Do or die. And, yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what your score predictions are and everything like that. And, yeah, up the chouse. Let's get the result tomorrow. Take care, all. And I'll see you an hour after the game for the match review. So hit the bell notification. And yeah, take care. Peace.